You started cooking at Calcott Manor before moving up to London, but what was it like walking into a professional kitchen for the first time? The buzz, the energy, the excitement.
Well, it's a mixture of terrifying and amazing, because if you don't know that environment, and people don't know kitchen, you've got no idea of the infrastructure. No one teaches you at school that space or that place, and you walk into it and there's 4 or 5 different sections, from pastry and garnish and fish and meat and starters, and you're learning that, and then there's a hierarchy level, and you're trying to understand, well, who's telling me what to do what and who's in charge of what. Like it's quite an overwhelming environment, and then it's normally like it's hot. Things will burn you. There's sharp stuff there. There's there's a really loud, noisy radio going on throughout the day. There's an energy. There's people shuffling around and moving. There's people with bags under their eyes because they're super tired. There's someone who hasn't had a day off in 17 days and is like moaning at you that this is shit. And you're just going, no, this is it's chaos. And then you've got the front of house staff that are coming in, and then there's an argument between the head chef and a manager, and then there's a pretty waitress, and then it's all just like it's quite. I mean, it's
like
quite
sensory overload.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's massive, and straight away your brain starts recalibrating and calculating what's going on, and you start. From an early age, I thought this is just mega. This is just
really. So you were immediately like,
this is it's brilliant. What do I do? What's going on here? And how's that get there? Like I've always been. When I was at school, I wasn't the naughty boys, but I wasn't the naughtiest, but I was always attracted to the naughty kids. I liked the chaos. I liked the energy. I liked hanging around with them. I liked being a part of. Like I wasn't the ring. I was the one that always got told off because I was the one that always got caught. But I was attracted. I like to walk to the flame as opposed to away from it. And I love kitchens and that kind of high energy environment. I just found amazing. Like I loved it all, and the sense that everybody takes it so seriously. But it is essentially someone's lunch and dinner. Yeah. Right. So you can put that pressure onto yourself. You can go, this is the most important thing. It's the most amazing. And you can push yourself and you go, but it's still someone's lunch. So if you actually fuck it up, what's the worst thing can happen?
Not that much on the line.
Yeah. You go, we just shout them their lunch. Like it's not that important.
Yeah.
So
you say there's not much on the line. When you move up to London, you're working for Phil Breton.
Yeah.
One of the most terrifying kitchens in London. A brutal place. I mean, the capital. What was that like? Because that must have been a step up moving to.
Yeah, it was massive. And it was massive. And I remember working for Phil. But Phil was like this power chef that would walk into a kitchen, and there was actually you could feel his presence in the building. Before, like when he arrived, even if you were, you would be upstairs, or you in the pastry kitchen, the prep kitchen. You'd just know he's there. You could just get a sense the aura that was in the building, and it was amazing. I mean, I loved that energy and that kind of not slight sense of fear, that sense of danger when you get as a young chef, and there's a big imposing Michelin-starred chef that's cooking at these levels, that's high demanding, that has repetitive kind of purpose every single day. This is what we're aiming for. This is what we're going to get. This is what we're achieving. This is what we're doing, and everybody has to hit that. I loved it. I love the sense of nervousness that came with it. I love the slightly sick feeling you have in your stomach going, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because it pushes you. And I like the energy being pushed or asked to do something, going and having that sense of, it's a fine line between fear and adrenaline. And kitchens are amazing because they run on that adrenaline level, that push, that, and that's driven by enough. Then you have that adrenaline and fear. If you care about getting it right, you want to get it right, you want to get it right, you want to get it right. And there is a fine line, particularly in the early 90s, between that adrenaline fear and then it becoming absolutely, it's like an unpleasant place. But it's only unpleasant because you've taken it too seriously or somebody else has taken it too seriously. And you've just gone, actually, you need to find that balance between it being a push environment that really does put you on the edge of adrenaline. And that's where I think kitchens... That's why a lot of people don't understand kitchens as well, and don't understand it. If you are that sort of person, you like it. The only thing I can really compare it to, I think, is kind of like professional sport. So if you're playing for a Premier League team and you're a Michelin star kitchen, it's a Premier League kitchen, right? Yeah. So you're in that space, and in the middle of a game, rugby, football, whatever, someone gives the ball away, one of your players. You don't go, oh, mate, never mind, do you? You go, move right, get there, move that, hurry up, get that. You're given, it's like, get that, because it's about the here and now and that energy and that excitement. And then afterwards, after the game, it's a high five. It's well done. We won 2-1. That's brilliant. What a result. Or you've lost and you go, right, how do we regroup? What did we do wrong there? Where did we go? But in that kitchen environment, in that service point, I think it's the closest thing I can imagine to playing a professional game of sport. My best friend that I grew up with at school played professional rugby his whole career, and we often have conversations where it's a similar sort of thing. You have to have that mentality. You have to enjoy that drive. You have to enjoy that moment when the captain is shouting at you and telling you you're a massive dick for doing that. Like, it's not because you're a massive dick and he hates you and it's all personal. It's because right there and then, don't make that mistake again, because we're getting paid to do this. We have to, it's about winning. And I think the kitchen's
wanting to rise to that. And,
exactly.
But London in the 90s, come on, what were some of the craziest things you saw? Because I read that you were sleeping on benches and stuff.
Yeah, I used to. Well, that's two reasons. One, because it's partly my own fault, because when we first moved to London, I lived like outside Zone 4. So it's like such a long way away. I lived right out in Finchley.
Right.
So if you're working at the Capitol in Knightsbridge, and if you miss the last train home, so if I was on the pastry, so quite often I'd do the pastry at the Capitol. So if I was on the pastry and you would miss the last train, like the last tube, and then you go, so it's a night bus. And then the night bus is like 2 hours by the time I get back. But I might be on a breakfast shift in the morning. And you go, well, by the time I get there, I got time to have like a shower and then come back
again.
It's like, this is too. So I used to go, right, in that case, I'll just sleep in the changing room. So I would sleep in the changing room, or, sometimes you'd find the laundry cupboard and sleep on all the big laundry bags and just go right with it. So it's partly my fault, partly because of the hours, partly because, it's all massively changed now. Like no one does those hours anymore. It's not
So what were you doing then?
I don't know, 80 hours probably, maybe more. 80, because it's a 7-day-week operation, you might be on it for and also it's at a point where people would disappear. You'd halfway be. I do remember. It's a joke that we used to make at Hand of Flowers. Is that I was working at the Capitol. And they just clearly had had enough. They wanted to garnish, and they put some carrots in like a butter emulsion and like in a Tuve. They put the carrots on the stove, and he just turned to me and goes, "Just keep an eye on my carrots for us, will you?" I was like, "Yeah," thinking that they'd gone to the toilet, but that was it. They never saw him again. The last thing was that, and I remember like an hour later going, "Oh fuck, his carrots," and go back and going, "Oh," and then going, "On a minute, where is he?" And then you're just going before
gone.
The last sentence was, "Just keep an eye on my carrots for us." Like it was just bye, and it gone. Like it was just like so. I just remember it was, of course, it was hard work, but it was also amazing. Like if you speak to loads of 50-year-old chefs that have done time in London in the early 90s, most of them will talk about how hard it was, but will reminisce it with a sense of enthusiasm and nostalgia.
But
and
you
going,
must
actually,
have seen some crazy things. Come on.
Like,
well, I don't know, just people getting fired on the spot or things being thrown around.
I think it was fairly standard. To be honest, people getting fired probably wasn't. It was more like people walking out, people just disappearing, people not coming back.
Enough.
It wasn't. Had enough. And what happens is, I think so much of it comes from just a relentless tiredness at that point of just going, like, I am absolutely done
take
now.
anymore.
Yeah, I'm absolutely done. I'm exhausted. And then when you're exhausted, and then it's all about precision, and it's all about trying to get it right. And it's all mistakes get made, and then the pressure comes on, and then like all of those sort of things that like it builds to that kind of like pressure.